slaves anymore because we're not slaves.
If you cannot control what you eat, then you cannot control what you feel. Eat your largest meals in the middle of the day, not the end of the day.
What part the homeostasis plays, you're on your way to healing yourself. The homeostasis is the internal environment where your body is at its ultimate functionality for healing. Just keep in mind that everything that is happening to you is happening for you.
Hello, 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 Grand Rising. Happy Saturday to everyone. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday with family and friends. Thank you all so much for joining us today. You're in the Mind of Nature, hosted by Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist. And today's topic is refined foods, shelf life versus your life. So thank you all so much for joining us. Come on in. Please share the live so we can have others be a part of the conversation. Share the live so we can have others be a part of the conversation. See how that goes? Anyways, and go ahead and like as well. We need you to like, we need you to share. We need to get the word out there. So Dr. Zarif, go ahead and join me here on stage so we can get the party going.
All right, good morning and evening and afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you very much, and it's good to see you, Kara. How's it going?
Going great, going great. How are you?
Everything is beautiful. I had a great holiday. I really enjoyed it, and we're right back on. Something really is different is happening this Thanksgiving. As I always do, I take time to be thankful, but I'm thankful to the people that took time to be thankful for some of the things that I've gone through with them. And I usually am, a little altruistic and I don't pay attention to it. That's just what I'm here to do. But I just want to thank people for, thank you for being, it's great to be appreciated. I think that's the best way to say that.
Absolutely.
So, and of course, I'm thankful that we have a wonderful staff, you and me.
I'm thankful for you and you thankful for me.
There it is. So, we've been doing this care for now, like in a couple of weeks, it'll be this will be 2 years here or a year. I forget.
For sure it's been a year because I remember we've had a cycle of holidays and such. But definitely. Yeah.
Well, beautiful. Today we're going to go ahead and get into it because we have a lot of things to talk about. We're going to make sure that we thank everybody that is taking time to come and listen today. Make sure that you're listening to also my shorts. I also have videos that are on the TikTok, and I want you to check them out. Also on Facebook. And don't want to be shy about it. Get out there, use it, use the information, share it with your families. It's not a secret. This is something that we need to know. Now you're going to run into a whole lot of knuckleheadism when it comes to nutrition, just like you do in religion and politics, but that's just a part of it. People believe what they've been told, and what they've been told becomes their reality. And this is really something that you have to keep in mind so that you won't waste your time being grumpy or walking around with a chip on your shoulder. We are here to help you improve your habits. And we know habits run deep. There's something that you do, something that I do, something that we do that, we seem like we just can't escape it, and we're going to commit to ourselves and getting better and better and better. So thanks a lot for being here today. Who do we say hello to this morning? We see Mr. Gentle is in the house. Allison Gentle, he's in the number one spot. That's my man right there. Yes, brother, I'm so glad. It's just so wonderful to have you here. Your energy, your spirit, and your commitment, super, super important. Yolanda Rogers is here this morning. Thank you. Girl. Girl. Can't nobody do that but the women, though. I mean, it's just, and Shirley Gentle Smart. Oh man, I can't say enough about her, but brilliant RN. And Shirley works in the oncology department of oncology and that genre of medicine, which is quite interesting because it's one of the most difficult areas or genres. So when we talk about the heart, because that's what we die from more than any other disease is heart disease. Um, my Leah's been really busy. She's tearing up Vegas, boy. She's all over the place. I'm really thankful to have my Leah here. She's another brilliant person. She has a very unique way of reaching people, kind. She's a very beautiful person. And I wanted to thank her for even sending other people. I want everybody else to do that too. Please share like somebody's celebrating a birthday this morning, because I want to bring it. And I want you to definitely be ready for it. As we go over here with timeline 508, this is on Instagram. Thank you very much for being here. Malika is here, or is it Malakia? Either one, CC or C Cox 1 is on the in the house. And then we have Robin A. Sullivan 7854 is here. Yes, thank you very much for being here. Sky Aim Productions always supporting us. Thank you, Sky Aim Productions, for being there. And I love Michelle. Yes, I do. I love Michelle is in the house. Thank you so much for being here. And we're definitely going to get it back together. Michelle is really, really committed to, and I've seen her concentrate and really, once she gets started, it's on, and very inspirational. Beautiful, beautiful sister. All right, so we're going to go ahead. I want to go ahead and move right up to this. I'll go right into this, Care, because we got a lot of stuff to carry to talk about today. So first, let's go ahead and bring it here, because when we're talking about what we're talking about today, by the way, is we're talking about the refined foods and the shelf life or your life. So if you're just dependent on what I'm showing here, this is shelf life. And this is what food is designed to do. And that's to stay on the shelf for as long as possible so that it can be sold. Then to buy it and pack up or stack the pantry. And then you have this stuff that's around for a long time. I'm going to tell you today, you got to stay here today and hear the whole thing out, because I'm going to go over with you those foods that you can keep there called forever foods. And forever foods are on that shelf forever. And as a matter of fact, there when I was studying, doing the research on this, I found that in Egypt now, over 3,000 years ago, just to give you an idea, over 3,000 years ago, honey was found in some of the tombs in the pyramids. And that honey was edible after 3,000 years. And the same thing that happens here, you notice if you have honey in your cabinet for months, and sometimes you can say, we bought this last year and it's still there, still edible. Those are the forever foods. I'm going to go over that with you. We also going to go over some of the other foods that you eat every day, that I eat every day, and they have different lifespans. So you will see exactly what I mean. And I really thank you for being here this morning, because this got to fall on the ears of people that can appreciate it. This is what we do when we get better. I want you to remember this picture here. This is when you don't have any organization. Just throw stuff in the cabinet and not really have any organization. But it's all a process. It's a process. it's a process. It takes time. It takes one by one step at a time to do this. Very, very important. Go ahead, Carrie. You had something to say?
I just wanted to point out a comment that the hustler made, said that cabinet is making my blood pressure rise.
Exactly. It makes mine rise too. So this we're talking about, this is the way that a lot of people eat today, and people are throwing this stuff into their bodies. Then they wash up or what have you. They put on something that looks nice, and then they go out looking good. But how do you feel? What's going on inside of your body? And this happens year after year after year. Euphoria cannot be beaten. Euphoria is something that is people chase euphoria because it's the high that everybody wants to feel. We're going to talk about that. So hold on, make sure that you stay here and really get this knowledge, because the important thing is that you take what you learn and then you put it into motion. Just don't take it and say, "Ooh, I got these nuggets, I got these gems, and I won't share them." Let's go on. You're getting the next step is going to look something like this. Now, you see, these aren't the healthiest foods, but what did this person do? They arranged it. It is arranged where they know where to get it. A lot of times you have food in your home that you don't even know that is there because you don't take time to look in the refrigerator. You don't know what's in the freezer department. You don't know what's in the cabinet. Get a better combination or a better connection with the things that you have in your home. Another thing we have is these little pop-up cans, and they're easy today. Those cans have really changed. Still have the old-fashioned can opener, but you have a lot of this going. Also, did you notice this little green here in the cap? Well, that is a chemical that's used to protect you against the metal part of this packaging. And we can talk about that later, but packaging itself is a whole story by itself. Then we get a little better here. Look, this is really cool. Well, this is a person that really knows what's there, and they know what they're looking at. They can say, "Oh, I have some kidney beans, or I have walnuts, or I have some capsicum, red peppers, or whatever they're looking at." They know exact couscous. I have, quinoa. That's it once you get used to it. But this is very important to get some kind of system there, and a way that you can relate to the foods that you have in your home. Now, the foods that once you have if you have a family, especially, you want to label everything. You notice everything here is labeled, and this will also give you a very a good organization, a very easy way to go to the cabinet and you see exactly what you want. The other thing is you got to have some tight fitting jars or canisters to keep the food nice and fresh as long as possible. This also can increase the time. So let's go ahead. I want to go one more here, and I went a little too fast. Look at this. This is what some people have in their homes. This is what some people have in the storage for those, especially those people that have little they have little bunkers below ground where they live if something should happen above ground. And these are some of the things that you may not even thought about, but this will enough food to last them 90 days. So they usually go by a minimum of 90 days, but there are other foods also that last much longer than that. Okay, so we get down to it. Why do we eat this mixture of food? Because the nutrient diversity. Nutrient diversity means that we need cobalt, zinc, copper, manganese, magnesium, we need iron, we need calcium. All of these things are needed by our body. And in order to get this nutrient diversity, you need to eat a variety of foods. If you're still eating, I don't care how good it is, and you're eating it every day, you are working against yourself, not for yourself. So make sure that you have smaller servings, and you also want to have a mixture, all the different colors. There are superfoods also like turmeric, maca, spirulina, and ginger, along with matcha and chia and moringa. So all of these are these beautiful names. They're with beautiful fruit and beautiful vegetables and herbs. All of these things are available to us in nature. As we move on, we have food storage list. Now, these are some of the things that you can make sure that's in your cabinet. And that is the commercially canned foods. Now, canned foods are the best way to go for people just getting started with emergency preparedness. Now, this means that if you go to the store and you do want to, you don't have to, even if it's not for emergency preparedness, you want to have food there when there's the emergency. What are you going to throw together if you don't have enough time? Is that important? Some people just say, forget it. I'll go to a restaurant. So they go to a quick serve food service, and if they can make it, they'll have something to eat. But those who don't, they'll go 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours without eating anything, just work. And this is where you begin the weight gain. This is where you begin the excess fat, the excess sugar, the excess salt or sodium. And this is important that you eat in a timely fashion. If you get up at 6 a.m., you're going to have a 12-hour window. If you get up at 5 a.m., that means your last meal is over. That's the cutoff period, 5 p.m. If you get up at 5 p.m., your cutoff time is 5 a.m. You see, a 12-hour window there. And we talked about the circadian rhythm. We talked about how it works. We use the analogy of the sun reaching its climax and then descending. This is the same way that the body works. Now, this is something, again, for you to absorb and that put into motion. Back to the cans. Canned foods, the products, they do have a use by date on them. And this is just to get, it's two things that happens here. One lets you know that after you have a use by date, there's also an expiration date for selling. A lot of these dates have to do more with selling than they do with when you can eat them. A lot of times you will see people with a lot of different cans in their pantry, and they're there just for looks. So don't get caught up in that, because you get turning the labels straight and, putting it's all perfect and all that. If somebody touches it and puts it out without showing the label, you get upset. All of those kinds of things, boy, wish something else. Okay, so we got next sugar, honey, and other sugars. What is sugar? Sugar is sugar. So one of the things that, like I went over with you, that what the archaeologists found in Egypt was that you found the honey and that was like over 3,000 years, and this refined sugar. The refined sugar can last forever. It's one of those forever foods. So your sugar, your honey, and your and other sugars. Look, I'm going to share with you right now. Here's what you can expect of shelf life from sugars. Maple syrup. Okay, maple syrup, about 2 years in an unopened jar. Unopened glass jar. So if you have this in a glass airtight jar, you can keep maple syrup about 2 years. Okay, and then corn syrup. Corn syrup is a forever shelf life. and that's one of those forever foods. Though the only thing about it is that after it goes on 5 years, 6 years, and on, it can change the color. It can get real dark. It depends on what kind it is. The other thing is that if some air gets in there, that can also change the color too. Then molasses. Molasses lasts 10 years in sealed, unopened jar in the pantry once it's open. Once it's opened, it will last 1 to 5 years in the pantry. So when you have it brand new and it's sealed, you can keep that molasses for 10 years. 10 years. And once you open it and you put the top back on it, of course, then that'll last up to 5 years, 1 to 5 years. Isn't that incredible? Powdered sugar. Powdered sugar, you know that white powdered sugar? Well, guess what? It's a forever food also. And this lasts for a very long time. It will definitely be sweet after all those years. And that I mean past 10 years, these are foods that last that long. And stevia. Now, stevia has been around for a good 20 years, and people talk about it. It still hasn't taken over table sugar, which is sucrose. Nevertheless, the popularity is pretty widespread. And stevia lasts for about 4 years. 4 years. Now, when you look at your food, you're gonna like, whoa, I wonder how long this will last. Because haven't even started talking about some of the preservatives yet. So let's go into freeze-dried foods. Now, this is the way that freeze-dried foods look. You see, it looks like this is a strawberry. A lot of times, the strawberries that you have in that very expensive ice cream, the strawberry is freeze-dried first, and then it's put into the ice cream. And then, of course, the fluid is absorbed in the ice cream, and then it makes it quite edible and delicious. Now, there are a lot of times where you have fake foods, and these fake foods, they'll say that it's a blueberry, but actually it's a colored piece of chop up apple, and then they color the apple to make it appear to be bits of blueberries. Also, for other things like banana ice cream, they just have a solution or some kind of formula that they make it vanilla ice cream. They add the flavor to it, and then they sell those ice creams as and they have right up there too artificial flavor. But when you want some ice cream and it's hot, that's not too much. You don't take that into account. So let's go ahead and move on to this next thing that I was talking about, freeze drying. The freeze drying is when the moisture is removed from the food while leaving its nutrients intact. Everybody understand that? The moisture is removed from the foods, but the nutrients remain. So what am I saying there? If that particular process is not like, what's the other thing that we do? When you refine that, then what happens is that the nutrients are taken from from those strawberries or from whatever food that's been processed. The resulting foods are delicious and crisp, and you can eat them as is, or you can soak them in water and rehydrate them. All sorts of foods can be freeze dried, and these include meat, and they include cheese, dairy, and fruits, vegetables, and then even entire meals. So you can have the entire meal that's freeze dried. If I'm not mistaken, there are some foods that go on with the astronauts. They also go through this same process. Also, all the emergency food that's sold they are all freeze dried. When the package is packaged properly in an airtight container with oxygen absorbers, freeze dried foods can last 25 plus years. So when we have the food that I showed you earlier, a lot of this food here, this is some of the food. Remember, I said this will last for the purpose of about 90 days, and looks like a whole lot. Like, oh, that'll last me years. Nope, nope, nope. It won't. It goes very, very fast. But these are not. If we had showed you the freeze dried foods, they look differently, they're stacked differently, and they're stored differently. So we move on. Hold on. Go ahead. Yes.
Oh no, I was going to say I remember there's something called MREs that they have in the Army.
Yes.
That's also like freeze dried food. I'm not exactly sure what kind of food it is, but that's something that I recall from when you said that too. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's just we're going to get a little bit into that. Is those are just the foods that are they're freeze dried also. The ones that they can, like jerky or stuff that they can carry and eat while they're out in the field.
Right.
So it's those soldiers, they really, people say things like, thank you for your service. I mean, I think that it would be more authentic if they really knew some of the things, the sacrifices that these men have to make and that these women have to make in order to serve in the Army to protect us. It's more than thank you for your service. Next is they do some things that we couldn't even begin to put our bodies through. It's a lot of training, a lot of things that really have to be put to the side. Some people are fortunate enough, they leave the Army or these armed forces and they are better people because of it. But some people do leave and they're in a very bad situation, whether they've been injured or whether they've been affected by Agent Orange or all of these different things that happen to humans that you would think would be inhuman. But these are some of the things that are done in order to take care of us, to protect us, and for us to feel, so good that we can leave the house in the middle of the night sometimes and go jogging and not worry about it,
Yes.
or they have the feeling of confidence. Let's go ahead. This is also Carrie. This is called dehydrated fruits and dehydrated veggies. And the dehydrating uses heat to remove approximately 75 to 95% of moisture from the foods. Without moisture, the rate of spoilage decreases drastically. Dehydrated fruits can last an incredibly long time because their sugars act as natural preservatives. Wow. So that right there is something that you can also add to the books. Dehydrated foods and vegetables, part of that dehydrating is what allows them to have a long time or an excessive time on the shelf. So this is really important. And then this is also important. Their sugars, which is fructose, can act as natural preservatives. And that goes for these, a lot of things might have a combination of, you got galactose, you got sucrose, maltose, you have, that I always say sucralose. All of these are different. Some of these are alcohol sugars, but nevertheless, just to give you a better understanding about packing, without special packing, such as storing dried fruits and veggies in Tupperware, they will likely last about 6 months. So I said 9 months, like the 9 months when they have bunkers. Sometimes it's like 3 months. It's just up. They'll have just a supply up to 3 months. I would you know, what happens is you get as much food in there as you can,
Mhm.
especially water, because when you especially haven't been under that kind of pressure, you don't know how you do this thing. You just, it's more than just taking some couple of gallons of water. That stuff goes fast. Anyway, we'll talk about emergency later. So let's look at some of the dehydrated foods. This is a machine here that this is the different carrots and apricots and that celery that it starts to dry, or this is a part of dehydrating food. And this is also recognized as processing the food. As soon as you touch the food is processed, you know. But then there's different degrees of being processed. When you chop it up, you have these carrots. This right here, you may not think that is a carrot, but this is how it looks after it's hydrated. The other thing is that I know Carrie loves these loves the dehydrated um, um, mango.
I was just waiting for you to say it, but yes.
Yeah. So is she loves that, and remember Debbie, another a friend of ours, Debbie. She loves mango and everything, and this is really great. Once in a while, the only thing about it is most people that love mangoes, they eat the whole pack, and they eat the whole pack at one setting, and this is really not the healthiest thing to do. Remember, sugar can be very destructive. It can be delicious but destructive.
Mhm.
Another dehydrated, or when the water or moisture is extrapolated from food, is jerky. And they have chicken jerky, beef jerky, pork jerky. They have all these different kinds. And this is food that people actually dry, and then they can put it in their pocket, you know, and chew on it through the day. And a lot of people do that. That becomes a habit. Okay, here we go. We're going to stop for a second, and we're going to reset, and then we're going to continue with the jerky and some of the other foods that we should know more about. You want to take it from here?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Zarif. Great information already. Thank you to everyone that's joined us here in the Mind of Nature. Today's topic is refined foods. We're talking about shelf life versus your life. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is Dr. Farid Zarif. Dr. Farid Zarif. Please go ahead and subscribe, and also give thumbs up on the YouTube channel as well. I've given my thumbs up over here, and let me see some thumbs up on the channel. You would actually have to go in and hit the little thumbs up button. That's how we do the thumbs up over on YouTube. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and also on Instagram. So thank you all so much for joining us. Dr. Zarif, go ahead and let us know what else you got for us.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to check and see if there are any questions right
There-
here now, or anything, and then we'll go ahead. You want to take it? Go ahead, Karen, see if we have any questions there, and we can go ahead and do that, and then we're going to get back to it.
Sure. There's a question that just came in from Velma. She says, what is the best container for keeping air out?
Tupperware.
Tupperware. Okay.
Tupperware, yeah, it's Tupperware. You never heard of that, honey? You too young.
No,
But
no. I've heard of Tupperware. Something that I like to use is the one that has the what is it? The mason jars with the clamp on the top. It almost has like a plastic
oh
around
yeah,
it, so it
uh,
almost like suctions and then it clamps.
oh
That's one of
yeah,
the ones that I like
yeah,
as well, like a mason jar.
yeah. We have to just make sure, like the mason jar, the old fashioned ones with the it has a little rubber there. Yeah, okay. So you can use that. That'll really make it airtight. And there's other products. You have to make sure don't get caught up with how cute they are, because there's a lot of ones that look really good, but they're not that effective. So Velma, one of the things. Hi, Velma. By the way, hey. I wanted to just suggest to look for canning jars, just like Kara is speaking of, canning jars. That's what's really important. You want it as airtight as you can, and you can do a little exploring online and find some great ones, because some people do a lot of canning, and that's really a great question. Next question, anybody?
I just wanted to add to that. There's another one where it's like the Ziploc bag, but then you have the little contraption where you attach it to it and then it sucks the air out itself. So
yeah,
I have one of those, and that works really well with keeping the air out of like the bags to keep things longer. So that's another option as well.
And the other thing, why things are important to keep in mind, that like when we were just talking about the beef jerky over here, or jerky or whatever, this jerk, I'm going to right now think of this as maybe what's the jerk is plant jerky. What's her name? She has a business, and it's actually jerk fruit. What is that called? She fries them and makes tacos out of them, and she's a vegan.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. I can't think. Angela. Her name is Angela from. She's from the movie Friday. Felicia from the movie Friday.
There we go. We're warming up.
Yes, but her name is Angela. I know who you're talking about. She does
right.
Jackfruit.
And it's called jackfruit. There we go. Jackfruit is that's what I wish I had a picture of. But this is also this is I can't just get past the thought of what I'm thinking when it comes to dead meat. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the jerky. Jerky is also dehydrated, but however, the dehydrating at home is trickier because the temperature must be high enough to kill bacteria. Remember, we talked about Shigella, Salmonella, Listeria. We talked about E. coli. All of these things, if people are just, like we got, for instance, like outside, many people sell the street food, and they're not thinking when they're buying it how it's been handled. It's a whole nother thing. If you're not starving, I would say go around. If I see people that they have a mask on and they have on gloves, plastic gloves or something, rubber gloves. That's a whole different thing. Maybe I don't do that too much, unless it's an emergency or end of the world is coming. I don't know, but I just don't put that in my body. You should also be maybe not as freaked out as I am about it, but you should also be concerned about who's preparing your food. Even when you're cooking for someone, if you're just a couple, a lot of times is not as efficacious because you always are in each other's face, and you get probably already exchanged the germs that both of you have. But I still wouldn't get too comfortable with that. You don't want to mess up your moments together being overly sensitive about this either. You got to find a balance. Learn how to approach the situation without turning the person off or making them feel bad or, hurting their feelings. And sometimes when something is going to hurt somebody, then you say, okay, no, you can't do that one because that has high amount of alcohol in it or what have you. Keep in mind of that bacteria. The jerky that you buy from the supermarket can last 1 to 2 years unopened in your pantry. Now with homemade jerky, shelf life, and we're talking about what kind of jerky here? Care?
Turkey.
Jackfruit.
Oh, jackfruit.
Okay. All right. Got hypnotized. All right. Okay. So we're talking about that jackfruit. So make sure that the shelf life when you do it homemade it is the lifespan is shorter, anywhere from 1 week to 4 months. The variation in shelf life depends on how much fat is in the meat. You see that? Storage conditions and the amount of moisture remaining in the jerky. So all of those are things to take into consideration. All right, here we go. Dried beans. Okay, the dried beans have a shelf life of at least 1 year when stored in a cool, dry place, but it can last indefinitely. Beans can start to lose vitamins around 2 and 3 years. You know, that's why we soak those beans, because we help to release the nutrients in the beans. So part of the beans nature or natural packaging is that they remain hard for a very long time, 2 to 3 years. But after that, they start to lose some of the nutrients. So long as they stay dry and don't begin to grow mold. When I see mold, I know it's time to do something else with that. I got,
like throw it away.
Yeah, some people you're not gonna make no penicillin out of that. So these are some of the things that you have to keep in mind. Just remember that dry beans take a long time to cook, but not that much. The longest bean to cook to me is garbanzo bean. That's a real bean right there. This is really something else, but they are so delicious. So a pressure cooker and cooking for a long time. I think, I was cooking without a pressure cooker. I think I was cooking for 2 days straight. I had to make a tent in the kitchen, just so I could get up just to put some more water in there. So keep that in mind, everybody. Make sure that you have a way to cook these beans when you store them. Don't, again, rotate your beans, rotate the food. Look in the pantry, and those things that you haven't used, put it in the front, prioritize it so that you can make your next meals out of whatever it is you're looking at that you've had for a while. Or you're going to have to throw that away. Throw it away. Don't give somebody something that you wouldn't dare eat. It's just, unless those circumstances are, not hungry, but starving. That's a whole different thing. Let's go ahead and move to the next one. We just talked about the dried beans. Now, jarred foods, commercially made. Some of the things, jarred ingredients to consider for emergency stockpile is jam, the jams, applesauce, pickles, peppers, pasta sauce, and baby food. So you can add that to your list. The home canned food looks like this. And I think this is somewhat what Kara was talking about. These are the lids. And then on top of the lids come the screw part. And you screw it down, and then this is airtight, and it lasts for a very long time. And people have been doing this for years. Now, canning is a way to preserve your food at home. And it's pretty simple with good pressure canner. We have a pressure canner. And food can, they have a lot of things that you can buy like on Amazon and other places that can really, really pick up your game in the kitchen. So this is important. Tools, like I know a few people, like I know this guy, his name is Kenny. And Kenny is a wonderful cook. And he has all these tools. I was over their home one Thanksgiving, and I was there early, and I just watched them prepare. And this guy, so shout out to Kenny, man, keep on doing your thing. All right, canned foods, they won't last long as commercially canned ones, but they can last up to 2 to 5 years. See how long this stuff is lasting? So you're buying stuff that can last for quite a long time. Next, we have pasta. Pasta generally has their best buy date of 1 to 2 years. It will easily last 2 years past this date in your pantry without any special storage. Pasta will last 20 to 30 years in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. So that's what you add that to your list. Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. You might say, I never heard of that. Where do I get those? And here we go, the wonderful invention of online. So go on the internet and you'll find out, put it to work. White rice. Now, white rice can last for over, it can last for years. It's one of those things that forever foods. So it can last forever and stored if it's a cool, dry place again, it has to be a cool, dry place. And this is not the case with brown rice. Brown rice have a hull on it, and brown rice also covers the endosperm, and it's very important that you know the difference between the two, because forbidden rice is nothing like Wahani rice. Wahani rice is nothing like brown rice, and so on. There's different types of rice. Unlike white rice, brown rice hasn't had its bran removed. That's just what I said, but in another way. The bran again is the hub. The bran is relatively high in oils, which go rancid fairly quickly. And that's why brown rice will only last up to 1 year in your pantry. Again, it's very important to know that we're talking about foods that are forever. The white rice can last. It is a forever food. You can put white rice in your cabinet and it'll be just as fresh 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 10 years from now.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that, and that shows the difference in how healthy one is versus the other, right?
Yeah, it shows how practical it is. So how practical is it to save which one? The one that will save and the one that's important would be white rice. So in other words, if you're eating when there's no pressure to go into a bunker, or, there's war or something like that, you want to eat brown rice. You want to eat the healthiest of the rice. You want to use wheat flour. You want to, do all the healthy things. But the whole picture changes if we go to war, or if we are some kind of condition with the weather where, you have to go and stay underground until it passes over. All of this stuff is just super important to know. And guess what? White rice would be the better of the two, because if you take all your organic this and organic that below with you, you're going to find that only if you eat it in a timely fashion that it's going to be worth it.
Right.
Or you can have it where you plan for the first 90 days. These are the foods we're going to eat. And then after that, we're going to eat these other foods that are the forever foods. All right, some of the whole grains, they have their outer shell. And again, the whole grains, that's the hub. And if that outer shell is intact, you know that the whole grain has more what? Fiber. And that is really important. This acts as natural preservatives and keeping out air and light that would cause the degradation. So I said it that way because you will hear it. If I said degradation, it's hard to pick up this message. But degradation or degradation is when you start to lose again the nutrients that are in these foods. So keeping them in an airtight situation, dry room, a cool room, all of that's important. The grains that, with the harder hulls, the hard grains will last longer than those with the soft hulls, the soft grains. So a hull is the outside of that particular, like brown rice, the different wheat grain wheat bran, all of those things. Okay. So let's go on to the next thing here. We're looking good. Now, I'm just going to go down the list. These are the expected life in a cool, dry pantry of the different food. Wheat, 2 years. Now, remember, think about you went to buy it and you're bringing it home, putting it into your pantry. This is what is the result of that when you're storing. Wheat, 2 years. Barley, 2 years. Kamut, 2 years. Millet, 2 years. Rolled oats, 2 years. Rye, 2 years. Spelt, 2 years. Alfalfa, 4 years. Buckwheat, 2 years. Quinoa, 3 years. And there's also another way that you can get a longer amount of time on quinoa. I'm going to go over that right now. But the shelf life when it's stored in the mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, they last longer. For instance, soft grains such as barley, quinoa, and rye can last up to 8 years. And the hard grains such as wheat and buckwheat can last from 10 to 12 years. So again, what's the key? Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. Okay. This is really, really great news for you, because you probably, and a few more people that are listening, are just a few people know these things. And when we empower ourselves, we give ourselves this knowledge, it really takes away worrying about it. Because it's like, oh, well, if it rains hard, this is what I'll do. Oh, well, we're going to have a blizzard. Okay, this is what I'll do. Oh, a tsunami. An earthquake. You'll know what to do. Well, with an earthquake, you can only think, now, if I'm alive after this, because the earthquake is the spookiest here in California, where everything moves. I don't care. I don't know. That's a rough one. That's a rough one.
Yes.
So we're almost out of here, Kara. We're going to talk about nuts. The nuts here, this is very important too. Nuts are an excellent source of nutrients. And that's the thing. Not when you eat like 4 and 5 and 6 handfuls, you overdo it. That's one of the big things, especially pistachios. Have you ever seen a person's, after they just remove the shell and then they start piling up? It's easy. It's one of those foods that when you eat them passively, and it's kind of like,
oh yeah, sunflower seeds for sure. That one I've gotten caught up with.
Well, my mother loved the roasted cashews.
Oh.
And they used to call them butter cashews. And she used to go downtown Detroit. As a matter of fact, there's a place, those of you here from Detroit, you'll know as soon as I said S.S. Kresge, which was a 5 and 10 cent store downtown. And in the basement, they served nuts, and people used to go there and eat these nuts. It was delicious. Another thing, and I'll get right back to this, is that they have like the waffles. They would serve you a waffle and have an ice cream, like a little ice cream patty. And then, oh my God, you just.
All right, focus.
All right, let's bring it back. But that's the way, you should, in loving food, and that's to get a real good connection with food. Most seeds will last 2 to 5 years in a cool, dry pantry. And remember that the temperature matters. The temperature matters for seed shelf life, because they have natural oils that go rancid from the heat. So if you put nuts in a lot of heat, that's why you have to stay cool, and you keep it there for like a long time, even over a few months, easily they can go rancid. And that's why you have this kind of packaging. Sometimes it's a real tight foil, and they have Ziploc packages, but Ziplocs aren't the best, but they're good for if you put a sandwich in there, or maybe some extra food that you want to put in the to refrigerate. So keep that in mind. The temperature matters for seeds shelf life because they have natural oils and that they go rancid from heat. The USDA states that each of these 5.0 C, which is 10 degrees Fahrenheit, is the 6.0 C, would actually mean 60 Celsius. And you drop the temperature. When you drop the temperature, drop temperature actually doubles the storage life of the seeds. So that's good to know too. You know, like seeds, when you keep the seeds that you eat, it's very important. Some of the things that you can derive from this also is that the shelled almond, it can last. These are how many months that it lasts? 8 months. Almonds in the shell, 16 months. Macadamian shelled macadamian would be. I never even saw a macadamian in the shell. I should take some time and do that. But 12 months, a whole year, this shelf life. Peanuts and peanut in the shell and shelled pistachios are 9 years with peanut shell and peanuts in the shell. One is shelled is 9. They last the same time, 9 months. And then pistachio shelled lasts 1 year. So next is powdered milk. We only have just a short time here. Last one here, but powdered milk is made by freeze drying milk. This is powdered milk is freeze dried, like we talked about earlier, hydration. And other people also have the air ovens now, air fryers. They have stovetop ovens that you can also do dehydrating in. The dryer or the air fryer has been gotten a lot of publicity and popularity of late. I find that they take way too long. So I'm not, like I couldn't cook that, use the air dryer and then I'm waiting for the meal. Yeah, this is something I would put on early, let it get going, and then have it later on in the day. So we're going to stop right there. Why? Because we promise you that we'll definitely honor your time. We don't want to overdo it here. We want to go ahead before we get out of here. We want to see if there are any questions before we get out of here. Carrie, you want to check that out right fast?
No questions. Just more comments of just everyone really enjoying the information that you gave, and like always, it's always been great information that you have.
Oh, thank you, Karen.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I had to do something about the numbers. My eyes go, how many people are watching? How many people are watching? That's hard. And when the number isn't like where I want it to be, I'll get distracted. But getting better with that. That's one of the things I think everybody, unless you're one of those people with like thousands of people watching, even hundreds, it may not stand out as much. But we're working up there, and we really appreciate everyone here. Thank you very much for taking time to send your love, to also give us the inspiration and the respect to stay and listen to what we're sharing. Karen?
Absolutely. Always appreciate it. And thank you all so much for subscribing. Our subscriptions, they're going up. They're going up. And we really do appreciate them. So thank you all so much. Thank you for tuning in, for commenting, for sharing, for liking, giving a thumbs up, giving the hearts. All of them are just really, really appreciated. Again, we are here every 8. We are here every Saturday, 8 a.m. Pacific time. So again, thank you all so much for joining us, Dr. Zari.
Wow. I was just looking at the hearts and thumbs up. That's good. We got 5. That's great. So if you forgot to give us a like, please do so. We really appreciate it. Everything you do really pays off. So don't think that, oh, that doesn't matter. It does matter.
It really does. Yes.
Yeah. So we really appreciate that. Let me go over here to Instagram right fast before we say so long to everybody. How we doing? Okay, good. Want to just thank everybody over here. I love Michelle. We gave us a big thank you. And we really want to thank everybody for being here. Robin, Malakia, and Michael Averett. My brother is in the house. Thank you for being here, brother. I really appreciate you being here. Tell the family hello. I hear that we got it looks like we got a new baby in the family. So that's really, really great. I'll tell y'all more about that as everything as I find out and be sure what I'm saying. So anyway, appreciate it, everybody. Really, we're going to get out of here. Thank you very much for coming. And we'll be here next week. And we're going to bring you another fantastic presentation. I'm Dr. Zarif, the nutritionist.
And I'm Carolyn Gentle. Thank you all so much for joining us.